Going down the Delancey F stop stairs, I saw the most beautiful thing: gentle parenting. It was like finding a fresh Hermes scarf in a trash can. Somehow, beauty could still be in a location where I'm pretty sure someone left the urine in a jar. The mother noticed the daughter get a little sad suddenly and asked what's wrong, which already had me internally screaming for joy. When I felt down, my parents would huff, already exhausted, the potential of me saying something besides nothing. The girl said she was hungry and really wanted the McDonald's they passed. Here is where I fully expected the mother to shut her down and say something like, money does not grow on trees or you're fat. Instead, the mother said, oh, yeah, okay. And they turned around and went to that McDonald's. And I cried. I cried. As a child, I probably would have gotten a speech about how I was spoiled or a recap on my calorie intake. Thus, whether or not I got the Mickey D's, it would still feel dead. I either would eat the fries sad or feel shame that I even wanted them and believe relieved at not getting them. This dynamic has always plagued me in relationship with my money. As a child, my mother would make fun of how cheap I was, but the minute her friends came around, suddenly I had a Kardashian spending habit. Meanwhile, my dad used money as a way to shame me, taking me on shopping trips where he would spend thousands on himself, on his male lovers, or his other kids and grandkids, and call himself Father of the Year if he got me a pretzel. I could never shake a level of cruelty when it came to how money appeared in my life, as if we were not meant to be friends. As I grow older, it's not easy to shut out how my parents lorded money over me like it was a debt. I had to repay them with love or a treasure I did not deserve. Their approach to money and me was unrestful and sullied by their own traumas and perceived teachings of what a child needs to know about money in this world. It makes me wonder if that has been my delay in getting where I want to be, both economically and emotionally, at peace. All right, let's heal. Let's discuss. Um, so I was walking, and it really is that basic of a story. This child just, in their innocence, they're going down the stairs, and she's like, oh, and the mother picked it up. She's like, what's wrong? She's like, I want McDonald's. Oh, yeah, let's go. It was so, I almost want to cry at the simplicity. And I think a lot of people who've had abusive childhoods, whether financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, simple was not our life. Simple was not the way. And the idea that you could simply want something and simply get it, impossible. And it has screwed me up in life. I think struggle is meaning. I don't know how to pick up always, even though I have a strong intuition. I was raised by losers to lose. I was raised by people who who thought they were winning at life because they had materially superseded their emotional abusers, but they still maintain the and repeated the pattern of emotional abuse. Because I think, my family, and this is normal, this is systemic, poverty does is a weapon of destruction. Poverty does destroy families. It's the leading cause of divorce, financial issues. People are not in a good mood when they are not financially well. People are not happy to be broke. Broke can mean broken. And should there be an association? No. Is there? Yes. And I think my father and my mother kind of convinced themselves if they just broke out of poverty, they would break out of pain. And they just became wealthy pains, if anything. And my mother was especially cruel with finances, I think. I think my father was, but both of them were. My father refused to pay anything for me. Anything, anything, anything. And he was so loud and mean about it. And the flip side was my mother, I think I had a tap dance every time she gave me something. I had to be very, very performative. And she too would do this thing where she loved to go shopping with friends and take me. If I asked for something, she'd call them over and say no, and then say, "This is how you make sure a child isn't spoiled." And the truth is, they didn't want to pay for me. And that has affected me because there's almost this level of I just don't want to ask. I don't want to ask for money because I already know you don't want to pay me. And I didn't know until therapy, until meeting people who had healthy relationships with their parents, who had parents that loved them and wanted them to love themselves, that was extremely toxic, cruel behavior. That was a humiliation ritual that was normalized to me. So there was just something so beautiful about seeing that girl ask and it be given. And the mother was like, "Sure, yeah." And they turned around and went up the stairs and went to the McDonald's. And it was so breathy. It was so beautiful. And I thought, that's what I wanted. Why couldn't I have gotten that? Nothing in my life in relation to my parents was ever simple, but they were so loud and dominating of, "I'm a good person. I've done well for you. You're just difficult by age 4." That it has taken a lot of work to realize that they were the problems of my life, that all their enemies were mine, that all their enemies became mine because I was their enemy. All their issues and all my issues are really their insecurities that they super glued on me, and that they didn't want me to prosper because they were two broken children that fell in love and had a child that they chose to break. And realizing that was brutal because it doesn't necessarily, realizing that you have abusive parents doesn't necessarily cut off that you want them to love you. It doesn't necessarily make you not reminisce on the good times, even if they weren't frequent. And it's so tricky to grieve the concept of someone because I wanted that. I just wanted to be able to ask someone, "Hey, can I get this?" Sure. I I can't believe how horrible they were. Gosh, check out theandrewreviews.com for daddy recovery episodes. Follow the Substack, follow the IG, follow the TikTok, follow me. Check out the normal music platforms.